All right, so we've got week of January 7, 2019. So we're going to start this quiz. All the quizzes of the same type. So answer the question and then sort the hands into the different categories. Yep, so we're going to answer the question, look at the question, read through the hand history, and then sort the hands into different different categories. So the question 1, here we go. Have a bit of a read, and then just talk about what you think is going on.
I mean, right off the bat, I'm pretty sure the kings is to raise all in. And simply because you have the overpair here, you have the strongest hand, and now you're more than willing to get the money in. The tens and jacks are both kind of are very similar, but I think the jacks blocking the flush draw is going to be the fold here, because a lot of villains bluffs here will be either jack 10, jack 9, 10 9 of spades, and blocking that is unfortunate. So that'd be my fold, and then so tens would make the caller fold, and then by elimination, queen jack would be the razor call. Not sure if I made any sense.
Yeah, I reached the same conclusion.
Yep, ditto. Same conclusion.
Like, I'm trying to.
Great, very good.
Oh,
so we're shoving this one. You can sometimes shove this one, folding the jacks because of the block to the bluffs, and then you can call fold this one.
Is that right though with the jacks, that it's blocking like all the bluffs?
Yeah, we're going to look at the sim here. So this is what it looks like. This is what the betting range looks like here. In terms of the weaker hands, if you like jack X, especially with the jack of spades, there's quite a few hands with the jack of spades there in terms of the flush draws.
Like all the gut shots, probably.
Yeah, the gut shots. The 10 also blocks those gut shots as well.
Right, but
pocket tens, but there's like a lot of jack of spades hands.
But like the ones that will continue betting should mostly have the jack of spades in them, right? Like a lot of the ones that he's going to continue betting on the turn.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. This one.
Well, I think the sixes to start with is the fold in this one. Didn't have the pleasure or the luxury of a sim to look at on this one. But I was a bit confused, but I think that tens might be the shove and the jacks might be the call, just because of vulnerability, but I could be way off. And the sevens I got a bit of help with. I don't think they're in the range. That's the one that's not within the range. So I'm kind of sure about the sevens being not in the range and six being the fold, but I think it's close with the jacks and the tens, and it might be vulnerability. And I'm not sure if blockers are as relevant as the last one.
Yeah, I agree too. I think tens needs a lot more protection, even though it blocks some of the 10-8 suited, 10-9 suited. But I think protection is more important in this spot. So yeah, I think I'm jamming tens and calling jacks.
Yeah, and I agree with the tens block and the like the you know, the gut shot for the straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I at first, like, I was thinking about, so the sevens is not within the range because it would check raise the flop. Sorry,
Here is in position here.
yeah, you have position. So sevens is not within the range because it would check back.
Check back. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah, you can either check back or you can bet smaller than this size.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't really bet big. So, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Hmm.
Yeah, so Aaron's right. You can look at here. This is what the tuning range looks like. Sevens isn't there. Right, sevens would have bet smaller. Right here with the multiple bet size on this flop, half pot and quarter pot. So it is good to have an additional bet size on the flop. When you get raised, this is what the raising range looks like for this size. Like most of the other pairs in terms of percentages, it's like 35% over pairs, 10% top pair. Right, you're not super worried about a set. You're more worried about an overpair, and in terms of the overpairs, right, tens is good as a shove because it sort of blocks value and bluff sort of equally versus jacks blocks a little bit more bluffs. Right, there's no value in terms of the opponent doesn't have pocket jacks there, but your tens blocks their value as well. Jacks on the other hand, right, it's better than tens. It's going to get it in on most turns anyway. There's also less need for protection. That's a bit of it. If jacks was in the 3-bet range, sorry, the check raise range, for villain, and you didn't 4-bet jacks pre-flop, sorry, villain didn't 4-bet jacks pre-flop, then maybe jacks would, at some frequency, shove all in. Here with this one combination of jacks, there's a little bit. Yeah, tens shoves, sixes folds.
Yep.
All right. So anyone got any idea?
So kings blocking the diamond.
flop. Let me check it down.
So assuming that kings is in, yeah, not within the range. Seems like kings. Kings were.
Did anyone else agree about kings?
Sorry, what's that?
Anyone else agree about kings?
And kings would have had to bet.
King is not in the range.
Kings would have had to bet an earlier street, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So the kings is going to be at least here. So if you check it back here, you're going to be definitely betting it
Then-
here.
Like kings can never check the turn for sure.
Yeah.
10-9 suited is a check.
You think 10-9 suited is a check? Why do you think 10-9 suited is a check?
Because our Q high and flush, I mean.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
We can get value from worst hand.
But
You
what are you
can,
gonna
you
do? What are you gonna do with king queen and ace 3 if you're gonna check the 10-9, I guess, on the flop?
We bet king queen and bluff ace 3.
I don't know.
We have showdown value with 10-9. We have showdown value.
I think ace 3 has showdown value.
Yeah, I also agree with the ace 3 having more showdown. Like, I think that ace 3 is like really weird hand to bluff with here.
I actually disagree because I think ace 3 by the river is like the bottom of our range. So,
but I think that means we're bluffing too much if we're bluffing ace 3 of clubs.
Yeah, you can't just take a hand and be like, oh, it's at the bottom of my range, I'm just gonna bluff it. Because if you do that, you'll way over bluff.
We have some ace of spades X and stuff, like all kinds of some kind of bluffs.
Well, ace
or
of
even,
spades you don't want. Ace of spades you don't want.
no, I mean ace of diamonds X.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So ace 3 of clubs, I think just fact that it's an ace high is good enough to check. And then like the 10 is not as strong as the king queen, the 10-9. So 10-9 would be like 9 big blinds and king queen would be like 13.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too. I mean, it's just ace 3 is so like you can't just like it feels like if you were to bluff ace 3 here, you just be like, I'm just taking some random parts of my like taking like unless we just don't have enough bluffs here, so we have to start really picking for bluffs. But I don't see it's like having a problem finding bluffs. So I think ace 3 is the check back, and yeah, I'm agreeing with I think Martin, you were saying 10-9 is the odd, and then king queen is the 2/3 value bet.
All right. So does anyone else want to argue the case for checking 10-9?
Like you can argue for it, but I just have a hard time bluffing ace 3.
I will bluff big and polarize with S3, 30.5 BB. And we queen and with king queen 9 BB for value. I think so.
I suppose
I kind of agree.
I suppose there's an argument for maybe like blocking ace queen or blocking ace 10. But still, I agree with you that it's kind of doesn't feel that right.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking. The only thing is, the only thing about ace 3 being a bit of a problem is that so it checked down, right? And at some point we like if villain didn't have our like so villain checked 3 times, right? So our ace high like if he had something as weak as like king jack, he would have bet at a certain point as a bluff. Or like 9-8, he would have bet at some point. Or all these hands that that like ace 3 is just never good here. I don't know if that means we want to turn it into a bluff or give up with it, but
yeah, I think that's a good
ace 3 has
point.
no showdown value, that's for sure.
Like villain still has pocket fours, pocket fives
Yes.
in range, so and he's not
Not
going
that,
to call
like
river.
We
literally
need to
every
fold 5, 6, 6 not 8, 9. We need to fold with a bluff. And ace 3, I think we can bluff with ace 3.
yeah, I mean it seems like an unnatural bluff, but it might need to be bluffed. I know I've taken both sides of the argument with ace 3. I'm not sure what to do with it. Like
Yeah,
you don't
'cause
block
it-
it.
Go ahead,
But,
go
like,
ahead.
What's villain's checking range going to look like?
Villain's checking range is going to be a lot of so it's going to have 8-9 in it, that's for sure. No, it's going to have diamonds in it, like flushes.
What's the majority of the checking range going to look like?
A lot of
You guys are at the 2 or 3% of flushes that they've got.
okay, 3s, 4s, 5s,
Ace high
3-4.
himself.
Yeah, a lot of ace X stuff like that's just not there. Like, assuming he just flats ace jack, a lot of ace X suited that doesn't have a pair, a lot of to be honest, a lot of like 6-5 and stuff like that. Yeah, so like all this like kind of talk leads me to being like, ace 3 is like just such at the bottom that it needs to be bluffed, and it doesn't block spades, which is good, and it does, it's like you're gonna need to fold out. Like it has merit to fold out his shit. So and 10-9 definitely isn't happy betting, getting called.
All right,
10-9.
so we figured out that most of the villain's checking range here is going to be ace high and weak pairs.
Yeah.
Then when you bet, what is villain going to fold?
He will fold 4.
Yeah, he'll
Eight,
fold 4s, 5s, 6, 4s,
So,
5s.
so will he fold fours, fives, and sixes before he folds ace high?
No, not 6s. 6s obviously is pretty good.
Oh, sixes.
But yeah, he'll fold ace high first.
So we're going to fold ace high first, right? So if ace high, if most of his ace high are going to be folded,
Yeah, and this is the worst ace high.
if most of his ace high is going to be folded, what does that mean when you've got ace high?
Then you're not good. Or like the only thing is like you block ace high.
Yep. So you block ace high. So if you block his folding range, what does that mean?
Then you should check it.
Great. Good.
Oh, wow,
Because you're blocking the folding range, your bluff just is not very effective at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean king queen is the slam dunk like value bet. You got top pair. You get looked up.
All right. So we're checking ace high. Now this should be pretty easy. You go here and you go here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So villain's checking range. It looks like this. His checking range in terms of percentages. A lot of pairs, very weak pairs, weaker than a 10, and a lot of ace high. All of his 10x should have bet, right? And almost all of his 10x should have bet, and almost all of his top pair should have bet.
Yeah.
Right. You're really just worried about some traps that he has. Not a really big deal. So your 10-9
does he trap 9-8?
Your 10-9 is a slam dunk bet. Small frequency. I think it's mostly bet.
The traps are flushes, yeah.
A little bit flushes over sets. Sets make good traps because they block pairs that check back.
Yeah.
So where are we? So if you check here in terms of your ace 3, here you got 5% equity, which is a good chunk of the pot. Still, you chop with his weak ace X. You chop with ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, which is nice. You also beat king jack and he has a little bit of that, tiny bit of king jack. And so there's that. So you have some equity in terms of checking because you can chop sometimes with some ace highs. But also you block his ace high, which folds. So blocking the folding range when you have a bluff is not good. So it's a pretty bad choice to use. Here, ace of diamonds, jack is an exception, and that's because it can sometimes shove with its nut flush blocker. But all the other ace highs check.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, be wary about blocking the folding range when you're selecting a bluff. So here I know ace high is tempting to bluff because it's not a very strong hand right now, but it blocks the folding range. So don't bluff with it.
Is there an argument? Like I know the solver says that A3 is a check, and I agree. But is there can you quell the argument that betting ace 3 folds out better ace X's? instead of checking down and having like ace 3 against ace 4, 5, 6, 7, that ace 3 may get the aces with the bit
Yeah,
better.
the folding out the better ace x isn't super important.
Okay.
So like with ace 3, you block ace x, which folds. You block pocket threes, which folds. Right. So you block the folding range. So when you bluff, the amount that you risk is going to end up being more than the amount that is returned to you on average.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we're bluffing for a small bet, you really want. It's more important to like unblock the folding range. Like it's terrible to block the folding range, basically.
Yeah.
Like if we were to bluff it, we wouldn't want to bluff big.
Don't block. Don't especially double block. I mean, ace 3 double blocks it. Double
Yeah.
block the folding range and unblock the calling range. Yeah, don't do that when you've got a strong hand. Sorry, got a weak hand and wanted to bluff. All right, this one.
What's the third bet size option? Yeah. Okay.
I kind of prefer to jam ace queen. No, sorry. Wait, actually, yeah, this is kind of tough.
This is actually pretty tough. If I can think out loud here, I'm not sure if. Oh, so I think ace queen is the. Oh man, I don't know, man.
I think
so why would you check us? So all these are strong hands. What's the reason for checking a strong hand?
Yeah, to check jam, to trap.
Yeah, to check jam, and how do you become more successful at doing that?
When he's gonna bet at some point.
All right, and so in order for him to bet into you,
He's gonna need
more
a king or
often.
queen. So is fives the check?
Yeah, so
No,
that
I
would
think
lead
it's
to
actually
lead you to
king
think.
queen.
So that would lead you to think that fives is the check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And ace queen would be
Ace
the
queen is
all
the
in.
11.
wouldn't fives actually be the smaller bet because it's to induce like queens to
Yes.
bet and then jam, and then king queen would be the check because ace queen stronger. Ace queen would be the all in. Or am I way off there? Because we're not blocking any of villain's value with the fives, right? So do we need to check the fives, or can we bet small to gain EV from villain betting fours when he has the trips?
So I think the main thing I want to like we all have strong hands, but the king queen blocks like villain's gonna bet a lot of kings here if we check to him, right? Like villain can have ace king or villain can have ace king here, right? Oh
No.
Why not?
The turn bet. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this turn bet means.
So
We actually lead the turn, I think.
you donk 10% on the turn.
Yeah.
We donked the turn, huh?
So he definitely has ace king in his range because he's not gonna raise the turn with ace king.
Okay. I'm almost certain that he will bet ace king. So that leaves me to think that fives is the check because he'll bet ace king and we can jam on him.
I will check king queen because we block all.
So the thing with king queen is we block him betting though.
We unblock like jack 10 and ace 10 that he might bluff. Although ace 10 might be a little ambitious to bluff, so I'm not sure.
So pocket fives unblocks ace jack or whatever you want to bluff with and king queen does that as well. So what's the difference between king queen and 5-5?
Like he could like theoretically value bet with a queen or a king, right?
Sure. Yep.
So you could like that seems like a better trap with fives because you could, so if he has ace king or he has say he has some type of queen x hand, then he's gonna bet the river for us so we can jam on that. Like isn't that, and it's like it's kind of sweet, but king queen blocks all that stuff, so you have to put the money in for him. Like, or you have to, if you want the money and you need to put it in yourself.
I think I want to jam fives actually because I want to put ace king on the spot and I unblock queen x like ace queen. But I'm not sure that's
If you check, okay, so you want to put ace king on the spot. All right. So if you check, what's ace king going to do?
he's gonna bet fold most likely.
So he's going to bet, and then you can jam on him, and then you put him on the spot, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So what's the difference between check jamming and just jamming yourself?
oh,
I
you
think
gain that
just-
extra bit.
I
Sorry,
like
go
to
ahead.
be small with fives to induce a raise from a queen. And check
Why?
with
Why?
king
Okay, so you want to bet small to induce a raise from a queen, but if you check, isn't the queen going to bet anyway?
Like that's the thing. Like if so, like the whole thing is like villain having kings like a king x or a queen x hand, so that he bets, and then now you can do what you want, right? But in order for him to have those hands, you kind of want to unblock those hands. So he's going to bet if you have fives a lot of the time. So I really think fives cannot be the jam. But and what do I know?
I think
Like-
king queen is the jam because it blocks it's the nuts and it blocks, and it like what are we getting called with? Even that's the problem with king queen. Like what worse is calling?
With king queen, I think you need
Oh,
like,
ace queen
to
can
induce.
call.
Yeah,
I
so
think
like
just jamming fives to stack is queen x and king x. Like queen x, you're gonna stack regardless with pocket fives. I think. So I think by jamming fives, you guarantee you stack always queen x, and you maybe stack a king x. But
Why don't you do that by check jamming?
because he might bet fold king x, but he might call a jam with king x if you jam yourself.
Okay, so if you do the if you do the math, so anyone who knows the math, if you if you which one forces the opponent's range to call more often with getting a bet, putting the money in over one bet or two bets?
sorry, say that again. Oh yeah, he has to call more if you get in over two bets.
Yeah.
And you want to split them up roughly evenly, like in terms of like percentage of the pot.
Yeah, but you can't make two bets because it's only one street, right? So
Yeah.
How are you going to make two bets? Your opponent has to bet for you.
Right. So
So
if you want,
so you win more money from a king on average if
if you check jam it.
you check jam with fives.
Yeah. Like if villain has like ace king or king jack or one of those hands, then I think check jam is like, oh, like people would do it like just as a side note, like at a table, be like, oh man, it's so sick. They do that whole speech. So I like fives as the
Yeah. So I think a few of you guys are confused, right? So like the statement he'll call a shove, but he won't call a check shove. Is wrong, right?
wrong.
Because mathematically, if you get your bets over and if you put your bets over
Two streets.
2 streets, all right, or if you split your stack up over to 2 bets, which is probably the more correct way of saying it. If you split your stack up over to 2 bets, you always make more money with a value hand than if you did just 1 bet. The issue is how, right? So if I've got any of these hands, how can I split my stack up into 2 bets? The only way to do that is to get my opponent to bet for me. Okay, and so out of these 3 hands, which is most likely to get the opponent to bet for me if I check?
Fives.
Right,
Fives, yeah.
and it's clearly pocket 5s, right?
Yeah.
So the way that we maximize our money with pocket 5s here is to check shove instead of shoving ourselves.
Okay, good.
Right,
That's right.
we still make the money from a queen, right? We're always stacking a queen here. It doesn't matter, right? What we do if our opponent has a queen. But if our opponent has a king, right, or if opponent has, it's mostly a king. Maybe some other stuff might bet as well. Maybe a 5 might bet, and probably not. 5 probably doesn't bet.
Probably
Just check back. What else could I have? Jacks maybe. Seems a bit thin. But basically, if they have a king, right, they're going to be betting into us if we check. But if we bet, then a king's not going to. If we bet, say, 10 big blinds with 5s, the king's not going to jam for us, right?
Yeah, we'll just call, right?
So we don't have the opportunity to. Yeah, he's going to call. So we don't have the opportunity to stack a king that way. But we
Also,
do have the opportunity to stack a king if we check jam.
most of the money, like even just for everyone else, like in terms of like the jacks or tens, like if you bet small, like you call with those hands, like most of your EV is going to come from stacking the guy. Like, right, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you got 5s being a check.
Yeah.
All right, and now the ace king and queen, right? So, you might be able to argue the same thing with ace queen because you block ace high, which checks back. Sure. In terms of the to put ace queen into the check, right? But you have to think about which one's got the greater impact, and 5s definitely does that because it doesn't block a queen, while ace queen also blocks the queen.
Yeah, makes sense.
So 5s. There's also the blocking the checkbacks with blocking 5x, right? So ace queen, the advantage of that is that it blocks. So the advantage of that in terms of checking is it blocks ace high, which would check back. Right, which is important if you want to bet small, right? If you want to bet small, you don't want to blocking folders to get value. All right, so now between these two and these 2 sizes. Okay, so we also have to think about other parts of our range, right? So here, if you have a king, right, you might want to bet that for a certain size, okay, to get your opponent to call a hand like pocket jacks or ace high or whatever other pairs that they might have, right? So you can bet small and then the opponent will call with whatever hand, right? Does that make any sense to everyone? If you had like a king jack type thing. All right, so that means that if when you bet small, you're mostly representing a king, your opponent will raise you if they have stronger than a king.
Yeah, if they have a queen somehow.
Right, so if they've got a queen, if they've got aces, if they've got like ace king, maybe raise as well. Because when you bet small, you're almost always just representing a king. Okay, and so this particular hand, king queen, goes good into the bet sizes which you use with the king, because you
get raised and you can jam on it, or you
don't block as many. So you don't block as many hands which would raise. It's like aces, right? Aces would raise if you're representing a king. These hands both block queens equally, so that doesn't matter. and it also gets the added benefit of getting called by like a weaker pair. Right, so king queen here is good because you can get jammed on by hands stronger than a king because you're repping a king. So you get jammed on by stuff like ace king and aces. And of course, fives as well. And that leaves us with ace queen. Nice, ace queen goes here. Part of the reason is it can't bet small because it blocks aces, so it's going to be blocking the raising range. So here, if we bet small, we're representing a king mostly. And the villain's pocket aces is going to raise us if we represent a king. The added benefit of shoving with aces is that making a really big bet, it becomes less important that you're blocking the folding range.
This makes sense.
Sorry, it becomes more important that you're blocking the folding range. So here with aces, because you jam, they're gonna fold all their ace high, right? Because you have an ace, you block the ace X which folds. So you block folding range by having an ace.
That's nice, but you really want to unblock the calling range that you beat. But it's hard to do that.
Yeah, I mean the calling range is going to be the weaker queens and then the kings.
Yeah, I mean it's like a secondary effect, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to look at this in. So it looks like when we get to the river like this, here's the fives. Pretty much always checked. There's the aces, the remainder of the three of a kinds. I was checking there.
Can we go to the turn? What can we explain?
Why are the fives leading the turn?
Yeah, this donk turn for a tenth of the pot is really.
This is one of the best turn cards in the deck for the opposition player after they check all the flop.
Oh, because they have a lot of queens.
Percentages, yeah. There's like a lot of queens, and so like you can bet.
Do we donk like the entire range or something?
Yeah. So every hand in the range, well, almost can donk at some frequency.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
And it's got to do with the 50% rule, right? So yeah, you're checking that more than half the time. And these small donk sizes are being used there.
What's that donking range? Man,
It's just it's a subset of the entire range
Queen.
at slightly different frequencies. So if we look at it here, right? So you can compare. So look on the right hand side. There's this blue ones, and just compare the two ranges. So if we bet small, we're just slightly heavier with three of a kind, but
Yeah, it's not very different, huh?
yeah, it's not a huge difference, but there is a slight difference. Slightly more air in the checking range, and bigger hands.
More
in the
three of
checking
a kind.
range, more stronger hands in the stronger range.
Oh wow, cool.
In terms of three of a kind, but the slightly more boats in the checking
Yeah,
range.
you check the boats.
Yeah, it's the intention of check raising it at some stage. Of course, there is a still betting. We bet and we call. Right, so fives. There, if we check, if our opponent has a five, they're very unlikely to bet. Right, so it's ace five, 9-5, 10-5, ace five. They all check back. So we block those 5x hands which check back. So our opponent is going to be more likely to bet into us. If we bet small, right? Here, 10% is an option to use. 25%, 50%. They're all options to use. We're mainly representing a king, and so our opponent can raise us. Here they're jamming aces into us, and so they realize, oh, you've only got a king. But if we jam, they're going to be calling aces almost all the time anyway. So the money goes in, and then we jam ace queen. Don't know why that ace queen is jamming. Yeah, because you get check jam. Right, so we're jamming this ace queen because we block all these folds with ace highs. Look, all those ace highs, they all fold. Blocking all of them is very nice.
We also jam queen jack and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, this one.
All right. Okay. Ace 6 off is in our range here.
Yeah, so you threw at it preflop.
Oh, oh gosh, sorry, we 3-bet preflop, huh? Okay. Okay, Ace King is probably the nice size value bet. 13.5.
I think we have to check King Queen because
Yeah, I was gonna
the
go.
block.
I was gonna go just Ace King 13.5, Ace 6 9, and King Queen check.
Yeah, same.
Just seems pretty straightforward. Just because like Ace King, you're hoping to get looked up by weak races that he didn't lead with. Oh, the camera went blank, huh?
Yeah, it's back.
Yep. The Ace 6 is hoping. The only thing is like maybe he leads a queen, or maybe he leads an ace, like a weak ace.
I think Villain is gonna check almost his entire range on the ace because we seem to be at that point so ace high heavy that I think he benefits from trapping. Like if he has a set somehow,
Yeah.
he should check again to check raise.
Yeah, but what if he like Villain might have ace x2?
He's going to check because of the 50% rule if he has like
Yeah.
an 8, right?
Yeah. So I think Ace King is the oh man, is Ace. Yeah, Ace King has to be the 13.5 bet size.
I agree.
Straight value. Like you've got the best hand. You're trying to get called by a weaker ace or a queen. The King Queen. The thing with King Queen is with
Will the king queen fold out like ace small? Like would he fold out his like ace 2, ace 3? Well, I guess he
no,
wouldn't.
way.
never, 'cause he is too
No way.
terrible.
Yeah, he wouldn't have him.
I don't
But-
think Villain is folding any ace here. Like he's just gonna
No,
check.
Villain will never hold an ace here for you.
Yeah.
Bluffing
So
with
I
King Queen is not a thing.
Yeah, I agree that the king queen is the check and the ace 6 is the 9 big blinds.
Yeah, hoping to get called by a queen.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't go too big with ace 6 because Villain has better ace x in his range as well. So
Yeah.
you
The only problem I sort of had was like you'd want to bet even smaller, but you never bet on the river in position. You never bet less than half pot, right? So
In,
yeah.
wait, in position, it seems that way.
In position, there's a good the reason for it is basically like if you're gonna bet small for value, then like you're just letting your hand get turned into a zero EV bluff catcher
Right.
by him check jamming, right?
Yeah.
So it's just not worth the EV to bet less than half pot.
Right. I just saw a recent My Name is Carl video when he was talking about this.
Yes.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, I can't think of a reason we would ever.
Only exploitive, I think.
No.
Recreational, we bet small.
To bet smaller than half pot would be some kind of exploit.
Yes.
Does anyone else see the problem with like ace 6? Like you block his like you block him from having ace x, and you have a weak one. You have like almost the weakest one, so you're gonna get screwed. Especially because ace 5 and ace 4 probably bet earlier streets at some point with the gut shot.
I still think we get called by queens enough, right?
That's possible, but that's the only issue I have.
Yeah,
with and then
It seems so obvious that makes me think there's a trap in here, something.
yeah, especially as This is really bad, but and I don't like to use this reason, but yeah, Thomas is being non-responsive to this.
All right, so I'll give you guys a hint. So middle pair makes up 0.81% of villain's checking
Middle pair.
range.
You mean 9x?
Sorry, Queen X.
Queen X makes up what percent? Sorry,
Less than 1%
less than 1%, huh?
of his checking range.
Yeah, so we would have let it out, right? Okay. So A6 is definitely a check then, because A6 cannot bet and get called by worse.
Yeah.
Right? Like Ace King can. Ace King can get looked up by Ace Jack, Ace 10, blah 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 blah. Right? Because villain's gonna have a lot of Ace-X at this point, right? Like this was my original problem with betting A6. Like villain just has so much Ace-X. Like so many Ace highs that get there on the river. So Ace King is great. Because like Ace King is great, like as a value bet, but Ace6 is like just honestly almost praying, right? So like it's so hard for Ace6 to bet and get called by worse. Because our hand is
I
Then
agree.
where would you put king queen?
sorry.
You
Where
could
would
bet,
you put king
bet,
queen?
bet 9 king queen because that's gonna fold out misdraws, I guess. Well, what would fold anyway? It's gonna. I don't know if it'll get called by any kind of like tens and jacks.
Villain never has tens. No way.
Yeah,
Like, he can still get
yeah,
called by 9x on the river with a6. I don't think that's an issue.
I mean, you can also just check back and be good, right? Like remember, like you still win 18 big blinds. You know, it's not bad.
Oh yeah, I'm just messing with you guys. You guys are going around in circles.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, like if the problem is if you want to check a6, where are you gonna put king queen? It makes no sense to check
All
a6.
right,
and bet
so
king queen.
this is what the checking range looks like. So they bet all the middle pairs, and they bet almost all their ace X as well.
Mhm.
Right, so then the checking range is like mostly weak.
Nines.
And you can't, and the reason why you can't bet the king queen is because they've got a little bit of king queen in their checking range. Right, that's sort of the main reason. You can actually bet queen jack for this size. Maybe if I put a slightly smaller size, like 8 big blinds or 7 big blinds, you might be able to bet king queen as well. Right, so don't be afraid to bet king queen there. Although against opponents that would check their entire range here, you probably couldn't even bet a6. So yeah, be careful.
Yeah. Oh man, he really messed. He got me there. I'll be honest. I started doubting myself. Well done, Thomas. Okay. So we're which one in this case? Small blind. Yeah. Villain raises to 9. Okay. Hero calls. Okay. Check. Hero. Okay. So, Man, if 7-8, if sevens becomes the check or like the 1BB to jam on him when he raises, that's really sick.
All right, so what's everyone thinking so far?
So
I bet
The-
standard from them value. I don't. We trees, we bet double pot.
You
Yeah,
want to
I mean,
bet double pot with raise?
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
So the initial thinking is just to go 2x pot with threes, pot with 10 top pair.
With 10, 80 BB. With 10,
with Jack
4,
10.
1 BB. To yes, with Jack 10, I bet 80 BB. Pot. I bet pot.
Jack 10 8 pot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like
so-
a spot where you just assign the end strength to the
Yes,
bet sizing.
yes.
Like
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, three seems like the 2x pot. Okay, so what do people think about so I see the argument for sevens to be the check not there's no checking here, right? You bet 1 BB, but the check or like the 1 BB, he raises you and then you jam on him because you block you block the nuts. Like what would you use as what would you do with 7-8, right? If you got to the river like this, you would bet small, maybe hope to like you'd do some trappy thing like that. He bets and you raise him, right? With 7-8. So sevens, it makes sense to turn that into that bluff, but maybe I'm just getting crazy here. Like sevens is decent like showdown value. You get to showdown.
I think it's just like an out of position, like a block bet, right? With
So-
7, 1 big blind.
So because we're out of position, we can start to do these like nifty little like small bets.
Yeah.
Because you in order to like out of position, like a value bet, I think it's defined as like just a bet with a higher expectation to get called
Then
than if you were to call the same bet, right?
Yeah.
So I think ace 4 might be that like tiny bet, might be some sort of tiny bet because you'd be calling with it. So it's like a nice blocking bet, or if you want to call it that.
I would actually bet. Wait. Yeah, I would actually think I would bet 1 BB with ace 4 because we block ace high. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I mean, maybe
that's
you can bet slightly bigger than that though.
Yeah, because we block pocket 4s though, right? So I think we could bet a bit bigger, like the 4.5, because we are blocking.
Yeah, like if he has ace king, right? If he has ace king, ace queen, these types of hands, then he's going to need to call like a 4.5 BB bet also, right?
Yep.
Like all his like what does villain have a lot of, right? Ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, like a lot of these high cards, right?
6-7. 6-7.
Villain has 6-7.
At a very low frequency, maybe.
Yeah, I think 6-7 probably bets the turn with the double gutter.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
6-7.
6-7 is such a small part of his range. I think it's almost negligible.
I mean, looking for specific hands is not really the best way to go about it. Like, just what's his range dominated by? Like, I think it's a lot of these double
Right, so
Broadway.
I'll give you guys a hint. So 45% of villain's checking of villain's range here is ace high.
Yeah, so if 45% of villain's range is ace high, then we need to bet
bet
small.
BB.
Like he's gonna need to call it. Like villain has to like call right at alpha. So like if 45% of his range is ace high, then so much of his like he just needs to call so much to a small bet to just print against those ace highs, right? So so ace 4 has to be maybe some 4.5 BB size or something like that. And then from there, good job, Marcus. Yeah. Again, 9-8 can get looked up by those sixes, the 6x hand, so we can bet 9 BB. There's no flush blocking effects, like maybe 9-8 blocks some like backdoor flush on the flop, but I'm not getting into that. Like the 1 BB size is really interesting. The like literally 5% pot bet or 5.6% pot bet or whatever that is.
So the EV from the one big blind bet is getting raised.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then sevens or threes.
I think sevens because it can get called by 6x and it can 3-bet jam if we get raised.
Yeah.
Maybe it works out well.
I don't know where to put sevens, but it feels like, when you get raised, it's never good. So you can turn it into that. But then you have to think like, can you really represent 7-8 if you bet half pot? I don't think so. Right? Like initially I said it as a joke, like, oh man, wouldn't that be sick? But the more I think about it, like sevens is like a 1BB thing is like sick to check jam it. Or to 1BB get raised and 3-bet jam it. Like sick. And it's
why can't you do that if you put sevens into a different bet size?
So, but like if you bet half pot with sevens, like it feels like you're gonna like, I don't know how to say this right, but like like you're trying to represent the nuts of 7-8, right? And it just feels like the nuts would never bet half pot.
So isn't the danger of betting sevens to value on yourself if you choose like a larger size?
Why would you not bet half pot with 7-8?
Just feels like you're going for that. Like 7-8 wants to get the money in, so but yeah, there's no way you're getting the money in with 7-8. Just villain check, right? Like,
all right, I'll give you guys a hint.
oh wow. Oh, that makes it okay. So really, top pair can just 2x it there.
Yeah, I mean, 45% of the range is ace high. So what do you think the rest of the range looks like? Do you think do you think how much top pair do you think they have gets here?
Almost none. Yeah. Okay. If that's the case, then maybe threes is the 1BB size, because like if villain never has like that much like sets could be the equivalent, like check jam. So 9-8 being the pot size bet, and then sevens being the half pot bet makes sense. But man, maybe I should just shut my mouth a bit.
All right, does someone else want to try it? What are we thinking? Okay, so where do we want to put the pocket threes?
Like,
Can the pocket threes be put in a sizing that's going to protect, our kind of middle strength hands?
Like what?
Ace 10.
Ace 10 can bet. Ace 10 can jam here, and you'll be fine. I mean, not like it will, but like you can. If you can bet twice the pot with Jack 10, you can probably shove with Ace 10.
or you could just twice.
What
the
about
pot.
our 9x? What if it could it protect our 9x hands by using a bet size at a certain frequency?
Martin, why does
if you have 9x?
Yeah, you don't need protection. It's good. It's value.
If you bet pot with 9x, why can't you do that also with pocket nines?
I guess what I'm trying to do is trying to justify betting betting smaller with threes that we can come over the top after getting raised, and also like fulfill the role of protecting part of our range with the smaller, because there's got to be the most plus EV. So betting smaller with the threes here, unless we do it in a way that we know that villain's going to bet for us, doesn't seem to work to me.
All right, so 45% of villain's range is ace high. Okay, so if you check, how is villain going to
Respond.
make up his 50% rule?
He's going to check a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, so he's going to check all his ace high, right?
It's almost all
his ace high.
Yeah.
So if we check all of his ace high, checks 45% of the time with ace high, right? So there's 5% other hands which he can check, and then he bets the rest of his range.
Well, does he need to? He needs to check back at least 50%, not.
When you're on the river, he gets really close to 50%.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
But you should be trying to construct your checking range so that villain bets 50% of the time, basically, or very close to 50%.
Okay, is 1BB basically a check though?
So just worry about the 50% rule in terms of the checking range right now. So think about that first, okay? So 45% of villain's range is ace high. So I'll give you that hint. We also know from the 50% rule that he's going to be betting 50% of his range essentially once we check to him. All right, or his check back range is going to include all that ace high. Okay, so it's going to include another like 5 or 6% other hands, right? What could those other hands be? Maybe some king high.
King high.
Right. Can it be a pair of threes?
Yeah, 3.
Probably not actually, because
wait,
there's not enough. He's checking back too often.
Pocket 2s. There you go.
He doesn't have pocket twos. You can have like 7-3. But basically like a 3, right? Ace 3, king 3. Those can all value bet the river once you check, or should be value betting the river because of the 50% rule. Okay, so if because of the 50% rule, he has to value bet a 3 or 3 some of the time, right? Because of that 50% rule. What does that mean that you can do when you have a 3? So if when you check, your opponent can value bet a 3. If you got a 3,
You block that.
no, if you just got a regular 3,
You wouldn't block his betting range, I guess. He's gonna bet more often.
If you block if he could bet a 3 and you have a 3, that means that most of his betting range is gonna be slightly better than the 3.
yeah, okay, but then what about your betting range value? So if the bottom of villain's range when you check is a 3, villain's value range when you check is a 3, right? What is the bottom of your value range?
Should be 4x plus, I guess.
No, it's a 3.
No.
Okay, so 3. So you can bet a 3 here for 1 big blind. Okay, and then pocket 3s double blocks that. All right, and then gets raised by the rest of the stuff. 9 here pots it, and then 7s half pots it. All right, let's have a look at that. Here's 3s, almost always checks, but between checking and 2 big blinds, I've just made all 1 big blind. That's fine. You can do a combination of the 2, but basically a 3 can value bet for 1 big blind. A 3 can value for pocket 4s value bet for 1 big blinds. That's 2 pair. Like ace 4, that was for the 4.5 big blind, so it can probably get a bit bigger. But definitely 5-3 can bet 1 big blind. Ace 3 can bet 1 big blind, so pocket 3s can do that. Pocket 2s, you can bet 1 big blind. When you check, your opponent will be value betting some 3x, right? Like they're gonna be betting here with the 9 big blinds. bottom of their range is like a little ace three there. If there was a slightly smaller bet size, they might even bet some of the weaker threes in that. And these ace highs here are bluff-ish hands.
So with sevens,
There is a value.
sorry.
Sorry, yeah, with sevens.
So with sevens, like
That's
half
half
pot.
pot. So
There's no
we decided that pocket two, some 3x hands, some weaker 4x hands can all bet for one big blind. 4x, 5x, right? They 4x pocket fives, they can all bet for 4.5 big blinds. Slightly stronger hands, better 6x hands, sevens, eights can bet half the pot. Can pot it with 9x. You got 9-8, Jack 9, Queen 9, and then your top pair can bet twice the pot.
I guess Villain's range is high heavy that it's so weak that we can be betting pretty aggressively with not weak hands, but like really weak.
Yeah, like if you check this what Villain's range looks like, it's 40.
It's got like no ace. It's got like no overpairs, right? So you're fine. So
Like
2x at Jack 10, right?
So there's a lot of ace high. It's at 40.5. But basically, there's a lot of ace high, a lot of weak pairs, not a lot of top pairs, and not a lot of hands stronger than top pair. Because they would have had to make that on the river, essentially.
There was nothing to the sevens being used as a like if villain raises us on the river.
Or if you bet half pot and then you get raised, then yeah, you can use sevens as a 3-bet jam if you want to.
Okay.
Because it blocks the straight, but like you don't have to put it into one big blind or whatever. If you've got a straight yourself, you can use a variety of different bet sizes. It's fine. Like you don't have to. If you got 8-7, you can just shove or like bet half pot or bet twice a pot or like do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter where you put it as long as you put it somewhere chunky, right? All right, if you guys learned something from that, in terms of the different bet sizes you can use out of position and 50% rule, etc. All right, this one.
Okay. So the main thing. So okay.
We're donking the turn again.
Yeah. So I kind of get why. I kind of get why here. Not so sure, but so right off the bat, like villain's going to be betting a lot of flushes here. So the sixes seems like a nice little trap.
I think ace 10 off. I think we won.
So I was looking at ace 10 off and ace 7 suited, and so ace 7 suited double blocks the flush.
Yeah.
Right. So ace 10 not double blocking the flush seems like the nice pot size bet, and then ace 7 might need to do something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, like, and then tens is the 10 like the 10 pocket tens is like like I almost want to just sort again, like put sixes in the check jam range, and then queen 10 is the 10%, tens is the 8 big blinds, and then ace 7 is the 16, and then ace 10 is the 32. Like that's like that just seems too simple though. Like that wasn't enough thinking. So
maybe we want to block with the queen 10. Like 3 BBs with queen 10. Queen 10, yeah.
Yeah, I can see wanting to do that.
I think the ace 10 is definitely the big bet.
Yeah, just the
Has to be.
nut flush,
Yeah.
no block. Pretty sweet.
And I think sixes is probably the check.
Yeah, I agree. I think
like
pocket tens is the 16 BB because I think we have a somewhat of a clear value bet for F pot with the 10 of spades. So
the only thing is, what do you do with ace 7 suited then?
yeah, I think we bet 8 BBs and maybe we induce like his queen X sends to bluff raise or something.
We're blocking him having a little bit. We're blocking him having spades with the ace 7.
Yeah, like that's the
Yeah,
difference
but-
between ace 10, right?
That's
Like
the difference. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
difference between the ace 10 and the ace 7, I think.
this is really interesting, but like maybe I'm just way overthinking this, but because ace 7 blocks the flush, right? Double blocks the flush.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it him having more higher flushes because a 7 high flush would be pretty low.
Right. That's a good point.
So like his flushes will be higher. So I think
Him
that's
having queen or not king queen, king jack, or it unblocks him having a high enough flush to
yeah.
to
That's
to
crazy.
raise. Yeah.
Martin. That's crazy thinking though, because ace 10 off doesn't block him having king or jack high flush.
I think Martin was saying something about him raising the king
Oh.
and flush.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But still, I know what you mean. It's difficult to tear them apart, but I think it has something to do with that.
I mean,
Because you can get a raise out of the ace 7. But like you said, we're not blocking any of that with the ace 10 either.
Yeah, I just didn't want. Sorry for interrupting. I just didn't want my like crazy, like off the cuff remark to just turn into like a spiral of discussion.
But I think you made a really good point actually with the a7 suited. I think it makes a lot of sense. But that's kind of why I want to put a7 into the 8 BB size because yeah, he can raise. I think he's forced to raise king eye flush if we bet that size. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
ace 10
ace-10
off goes into 32 BBs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pocket 10 goes.
Yeah. Oh wow, this
Yeah,
is what
16,
I thought it was.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
job,
minus
Marcus.
ace-7.
All right, very good. So here we go. Through a kind, bets it hands to the pot. Some weaker flushes, bets it hands to the pot. Yeah, a lot of weak flushes, bets like quarter pot, tenth pot type stuff, right? And because those weak flushes are there, they get raised by some stronger flushes, like a second nut flush, right? King of spades and jack of spades.
And you just
So
blew
that's
that.
why you put a7 there, right? Because
Yeah.
with the 7 of spades, you block that, but unblock.
You probably
king
do
of
that with
spades.
like my computer, the video just stopped, but you probably do that with like all the ace-5 and ace-8 and all those double spades with ace high. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you pretend you have the 5 or the 4 high flush and then show them up. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here, because being slightly smaller with the 4s and the 5s, they would go slightly smaller or pot it with those ones. But yeah, basically, like if you have on these 4 to a flush boards, right, out of position, if you have like 6 cards to a flush, right, you use that extra card with your nut flush to try and figure out what size you want to use. So here, like with the 5 of spades, when your pocket 5s, you're betting quite small. You can do the same sort of thing with your ace-5. Right, and similarly 7s with a spade can do the same thing as a7. Or a7 does the same thing as the 7s. The 10s is a slightly stronger flush, so I'll bet slightly bigger. They're half pot. And then the ace-10 is slightly stronger again, so or it's a nuts there and doesn't block anything else, so you just pot it. All right, so this is between a7 and ace10. a7 has a slight blocker effect and can induce the raise. This ace10 doesn't block it, and so it can get called by the 7. 7 high flush. All right, this one. So we're in the small blind again.
There's more questions?
Yeah, so there's 10 questions in total.
Oh, they're not. I just
Mine only goes up to 7.
Yeah, just refresh it.
Okay. Anyways, we can do these anyways. This is fun. We're small blind. He's big blind 3-bets us.
Yes, we're small blind. Small blind versus big blind.
Oh man, the queen 9, huh? Double blocks the miss flush, but so the only problem with trapping with the 7-5 is that then you get called by a better flush. At the same time, though, I don't see villain checking down.
And the board blocks a lot of those higher flushes too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like you're worried about like ace king and ace king of spades, but like there's no way that he would take ace king and check.
Sorry, I'm gonna say this is should be a 7 of spades. Sorry, 7 of diamonds, not 4 of diamonds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That changes quite a bit. Okay.
So this is a 7 diamonds, not a 4 diamonds.
All right. If that's the case, then unfortunately we double block pairs with our 7-5. Right? Like, we have 2 pair, but we have a flush. So, man, this is a hard question.
I just want to go big with a flush because I don't think we can afford to go for the check raise.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with that just because it's hard to...
And if we block middle pairs, he's going to be more maybe Jack X heavy, which is in kind of bluff catching mode. So we just want to bet big, I guess.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
So we have a flush and we block 2 middle pairs, right? With 7-5.
Yeah.
So I think his range is going to be a lot of Jack X on this line. So we just want to bet big. I'm not sure this is... Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure if that's a good reasoning or sufficient reasoning, but yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, we like, it's not like there's a whole lot of better flushes, but...
Right, so in this line, if you check, what's the checking range going to look like? The check back range.
The check back range?
Yep.
Ace high, pocket 8s, pocket 6s, like 5x suited.
So 5x, 7x, yeah. So if you've got 7-5 with your 2 pair but a flush, what advantage do you have there?
That he can call a small bet.
No, you can check it and you block the checking range.
Oh.
Yeah. So a flush, yeah, is very strong, but here this can go for a check raise because checking it.
Yeah.
Blocks.
I mean, I was going
range.
towards that as soon as I realized that it's not like he has too many better flushes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, a flush is very, very strong. So, like, because in this line, so.
Yeah, like, I just think he would have bet a flush draw at some point, right?
Both of you would have bet flush draw at some point, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, a flush is very strong. So you can definitely check jam with 5-7.
Okay. So queen 9 of diamonds is really interesting because you block the double the missed flush draw, but you have 2 pair. You river 2 pair. So you would not want to put that. So I'm wondering if you can't like use the queen nine because like as a big bet, but maybe you still do. Like I don't know, I can't not bet 2 pair for value.
Yeah, I think the queen nine is the 18 is the pot because like we were saying, I don't think the villain gets here really with too many good punches, right? I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt because you know
Is the thing the question you have to ask is the nine of diamonds, is that an important blocker? Not
Sorry?
really. Is the nine
Yeah.
of diamonds, is that an important blocker?
no, because he would have bet a flush.
Yeah, no. So you put it here.
So the nine. I mean, so you block straights with these jack 8 and 9 and queen 8, but I mean, I don't think that's so important. I think you can just go the standard, like, you know, bet 9 BB with the queen. And yeah.
yeah,
Very good. All right. So the main takeaway from this one is that because of you block the pairs, the 7 and the 5 with your 7-5.
So you block the check back range so you can
Yeah.
check raise.
Yeah. So you block the check back range, so he's going to be checking back less often. Check back less often means he's betting more often. So you can check raise. It's going to be more successful if you have 7-5.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
I never would have thought of that on my own. Thank you.
All right. This one probably similar to a few hands ago. Did I do this right? Maybe not.
Oh yeah, I see how it's similar. Okay.
so the ace jack is the all in.
So king jack is like the interesting hand here because you have the flush on the turn, and now the thing is like, like king jack is like mega blockers in this spot. Yeah, I mean, I can go for the ace jack being. Oh wait, the 7-8 is also interesting.
Okay, so if we have the king jack suited, we definitely don't want to check, right? I think.
I mean, yeah, that speaks for itself.
Hang on, there's something wrong here. You guys try this one instead.
Okay. That seemed like such a cool spot. Okay.
Yeah, I just messed up on the numbers, I think.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so we're the small blind here. Check, bet, call, check, hero. Okay. Oh, I love these types of questions. Okay.
I guess you invert the colors for queen 9.
You what? Sorry.
Oh yeah, queen 9. Same suit.
I guess there are not 2 queens of spades.
Yeah, there's no two. Yeah, okay. Queen 9 is. Okay, nice catch. Like. So. This might be a spot where you can't really hope to check jam a jack. Right? Like you can't just.
Yeah, we can't expect villain to bet call with anything less than a jack himself, I think.
Yeah. So I think the ace jack, but that doesn't mean it maybe does better. Yeah. Yeah. I mean I think ace jack here is just a pot. Like not a check jam. But like, man, like all these hands seem so nice, but the 4 to a straight. Like, there's no like king king blockers to like rep the king jack either. So, he also never has king jack.
Sorry, this one is
Yeah, I mean we knew it couldn't
This
be
is
that
this
exact
is
hand.
this is queen 10. Yeah.
Queen 10.
There you go.
All right.
I kind of want to check 9-8 because if villain bets, maybe we can check jam because it blocks a lot of his jack X hands that he checks back the turn, like maybe jack 9. Actually, no, never mind.
Yeah, this is a really hard question.
Yeah, he's not gonna check back turn with jack 8, so having 9-8 is not that good to check and shove.
Yeah, I mean, like a hand like
I have a question.
yeah.
Can we get value from worse than a jack if we check jam, ace jack? So
No.
I don't
Like
think we can get value from worse than a jack.
yeah, like he's never we're never gonna check. He's gonna bet and then he's gonna call a jam if he doesn't have a
Yeah.
straight, right? Like this is never gonna happen.
Yeah,
So-
so ace jack never check.
Yeah, ace jack is probably the pot.
Yes, I agree. Ace jack, we get pot.
Like yeah, we thought that.
Like in these kinds of spots, is it a good question to ask? Like, okay, jack is obviously strong here, but it could also be a smaller bit size for protection for the range, right? Like you always have this question in the back of your head.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you think it's going for some small bet in order to protect the rest of our range is
Like, I mean,
don't know.
obviously, first idea is to bet the weaker hand smaller, but then it can be the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, so nines is a very strong hand here too. In fact, like I'm surprised we didn't check raise the flop. Like I don't know, nines is very strong. So
I bet have pot with nines.
yeah, that seems fairly good. And then quarter pot with like queen 10 makes sense. The only thing is like I don't know how to get behind checking like so 9-8. The problem with 9-8 is you block the flush draw, but he doesn't have flush draws. That's fine. So you block the.
I think I actually want to go bigger with pocket nines because we unblock like 10-8, which might be a hand that he checks back turn with.
We unblock 10-8.
Yeah, we unblock exactly. Yeah, we unblock 10-8.
That seems like just such a specific.
Yeah,
specific
maybe it is. That's true. Yeah.
It's like hard to like. I like to try to like unless there's like a really important hand that he could have like. Then we try not to focus too much on blocking like those really specific hands.
Specific hands. Yeah.
Yeah, like if there sometimes are specific hands we want to be blocking or unblocking, but this isn't one of those. I find it hard not to.
All right, so I don't know what that is.
Is that you, Thomas?
Is it Cali?
Yeah, Kelly
yeah,
here.
okay, let's mute
Okay.
that guy. All right. So where were we? Okay, so when you get this run out, what's the bottom of players' range is going to be?
Of whose range?
Both players' ranges. Well,
bottom?
specifically yours. What's the bottom of your range?
The bottom of our range is Yeah, 2 pair is like near the bottom of our range.
I think you
No,
get
not
with worse
really.
to the river, pocket eights, pocket sevens, pocket sixes.
Yeah,
pocket
so
fives.
like a lot of pairs, right? So our range is almost always a pair or better here
Mm-hmm.
after we call the half pop down the flop, right? So if we have some sort of gut shot or straight draw, all those are pairs now, or a straight. Okay.
Yeah.
So our range is like a pair or better.
So the 2 pair is like pretty weak. If our range is pair or better, then 2 pair is pretty weak, right?
Well, if our range is a pair or better, then opponent's not going to be betting into us when we check super often.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why everyone is on board.
But we have to think about what sort of hands we block and unblock when we want to sort of bet these hands. All right. So for ace jack, what's the benefit of betting ace jack over a different jack x straight?
The ace
And
queen.
block 2 pairs, I guess.
All of almost all, yeah. I mean, a lot of your straights can do that. Sorry, no. Yeah, ace jack is one that's going to do that. Yeah, sure. So yeah, you unblock 2 pairs, which you might call. All right. Well, what else?
I mean, ace queen.
Yeah, okay. So ace queen is one hand. What else? So we with our blockers. So we have an ace. So what does that mean? We block an ace, and if we were to bet, what happens to an ace?
It folds, which means his calling range is wider. He's gonna call more.
Yeah,
Is what I mean.
So that's good, right? So we block folds, so it makes for a good bet.
Mhm.
All right, for value. So we can put this here.
Yeah.
All right, and now in terms of the other stuff.
So all of them are 2 pair or the set, but they all block 2 pair, right? Which is a lot of villains calling range.
Yeah. Okay. So if we check and then our opponent bets, right? If they can value bet 2 pairs, which of these hands is very comfortable calling?
Calling a value bet, queen 10. Well,
Pocket
the only
nines,
problem,
I think.
so the only problem with queen 10 is you block the jacks pretty hard. Like a lot of his 3-bet pre-flop is gonna be like the queen jack, jack 10. Okay, but
They don't get here.
Mhm.
So queen jack doesn't get here. Would have bet here again. So that's not super relevant.
Are we ever check folding 2 pairs on the river ever?
If he shoves it into us, then yeah, I mean maybe you can fold some 2 pairs, but he's not really going to shove into us. So all right,
I will check queen 10.
queen 10's a good check. Yeah, and now
Yeah.
all these ones.
Okay, why is queen 10 a good check?
So you can call. It's much
You
better to
can
call
call.
queen 10, right?
Okay.
And we block jack 10, queen jack.
Yeah, so it blocks worse hands that you want to get called by, and you can comfortably call a bet with it.
Okay.
Right, because
okay,
our opponent's going to block. Our opponent's going to bet with worse 2 pairs.
Okay.
On the other hand, with 9-8, it's not so comfortable calling a bet because we lose a lot of 2 pairs.
Mhm.
But if we bet ourselves, we can get called by a queen or a 10.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we can
And
put
nines
here,
and
and
block
then
2 pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
similarly you can go here. All right, so that's the answer to that one. And then going back to this one. Yeah, so
see it or no?
the mistake which I made was that hero here donks a quarter pot. And then
Hero donks a quarter pot.
yeah, that's why
Oh yeah, that's how that doesn't add up, huh? Oh wait, what?
yeah. Is that how it
27
doesn't
and
add up?
52, not 54.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, this is fine. I'm making a mistake.
So
I'm just not reading things right.
the pot size is wrong.
Hang on, let me think about it. What was him? Yeah. So hero donks a tenth of the pot, and then villain calls. That's how you get to 45 on the river.
54?
So this is 54 on the river. So it's 45 here, and then hero donks a tenth of the
Yeah,
pot. And then
27,
villain
18,
calls.
45, and then, yeah, okay, it makes sense. No, quarter pot, sorry?
Tenth of the pot.
A tenth of the pot. Yeah, right. Good. We're good. So like the spade on the turn is pretty good for you. That's why you donk it. Yeah, I think ace jack is still all in. Because you only have the one spade, and similar to the last one, we go for the so the 7-8 double blocks the small flushes, so it's a small bet, and then the ace-7 is a check because it blocks it only the small flush only once, so villain will bet, and then the king jack is the half pot bet. Let me stop for a sec. So I think king jack is a safe half pot bet. Because it's not the nuts. Double block flushes, so you can hope to be called by like a 10 high and 8 high flush. But the interesting one is like obviously the ace-7, 8-7. So with the nut flush, so like I don't think so like the nut flush is obviously really important. The thing with 7, so like let me just explain my 7-8 thinking. Like the 7 and 8 high flushes are the ones he's going to bet a very small amount, like he's going to bet for us, right? We double block that, like the 8 high, 7 high flushes that he has. So we have to bet it ourselves pretty small and hope to get called by like the weak flushes, maybe.
No, you're trying to get called by ace high, top pair. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna bet, yeah.
If you're gonna bet
So
really
it makes
small.
sense to bet 13 BBs, yeah, with 8-7 and check.
Yeah, and then 8-7 has to
Ace-7.
check jam. Right, like you could pretend you have the 7 high flush and then. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Very good. So here it's the very weak flushes. They're all bet. Okay, you can even bet a tenth of the pot, right? So they all bet. With this flush, check. It blocks some checkbacks with his weak flushes, right? So his 7x flush, right? So those weak flushes here that check back. So he's more likely to have a slightly stronger flush or a bluff. And so they'll be betting for you more often. And so then you can check shove into that or just call a shove. Very good. All right, there's the king jack there. The other king X can shove as well, or pot it. The king jack in particular, because it shares the same blocker as the third nut flush. So second nut flush is the king, and then the third nut flush is the jack high. Because it shares that second blocker, you usually want to use the one with your lower blocker.
Yeah,
right. You choose the bet size for your lower blocker. So the rule of thumb is if you have 6 to a flush, you play it sort of similarly. To your smaller blocker, to your smaller flush card. So it's when you're out of position.
Thomas.
Yeah.
On the river, what's the difference between betting 54 and 73 really? I don't get why, like.
Yeah, there's not.
It feels like it should be very similar.
It's an extra half of the potish. So
yeah,
it is significant. I mean, like a 40% pot.
Like I feel like
19 big blinds is still 19 big blinds. So
no, I'm not saying that. It feels like this for sizing. It's like wouldn't you either just But
Yeah,
maybe
there's in GTO Plus there's a maximum of 5 sizes per spot. So if I had the option to put a 75% size in, the king high flush might choose that instead. Maybe not.
yeah, I just think that like maybe just practically, like, would you ever be like, oh, I've got 73 big blinds behind, like whatever, 54 of them? I don't think so. Right?
It's not very low hanging fruit. Let's just say that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, should we need to be worried with balancing the 8-7 suited in that spot? Or are we pretty much
So you
always bet
can
folding?
you can put your like queen 8, sorry, ace 8, ace 10 flushes in there. Some other
Oh,
flushes.
okay.
So you put some other flushes in there, and like here you bet, and then you get jammed on. I mean, you're always going to be calling a flush stronger than your weakest flush, right? So if the majority of your range was the 8-7, which you're betting for value, which it is, right? You're 8-7, 8-6, 7-6. Most of it is 8-7. But there is some other stuff, right? The reason why these ones are all calls and these ones aren't is because you're mostly representing like a hand around a 7-8, 10 high flush. So he can shove into you with probably 10 high flush if he's.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe
I
not
see.
10 high flush, but definitely jack high flush.
Question. Like,
So let's hope I didn't mess up too much. There we go. Yeah.
so a few things, like, I guess, like, exploitatively, like on these 4 to a flush boards, people like never call you unless they have at least like once they have a flush, they'll call with anything, like they'll call anything. But like, how do you bluff on this board?
With pairs and air and stuff.
Yeah, like how, like I'm trying to think of like what are the bluffs here?
Yeah, so just pairs here. Yeah. When you're betting, you want to block the calling range.
Right.
Right. So if 2 pair likes to call, then try and block 2 pair by using
Pair.
using a weaker pair. You can do that.
Okay.
Obviously, you can do the same thing with just your random air. So if you whatever air you have left, you can use that. But here in particular, in this specific spot, because you called the 3/4 bet on the flop, and then you hit this turn. This turn's very good for you. You would have checked back a lot, so there's a lot of give ups here. Or there will be on the river against any bet. Like look how much more he's folding than he should be. Is that a lot more? Probably not. Folding a little more than he should be.
Okay.
So yeah, turn a lot of whatever air you've got. I mean, it's 4 to a flush, right? So don't be afraid to try and make a flush indifferent. If you have to, you can shove and then 10 is indifferent.
Yeah, you can.
And like, how else are you going to do that, right? You have to use whatever bluffing material you have available to you.
Yeah. And then the other question I had is like, with like 7-8 there, right? Like, people typically don't call you unless they have a flush on this type of board exploitatively. So does it make sense to be betting 7-8 there, like in a real game, or hoping to get called by the weaker flushes type of thing? Or that's why you bet it really small?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have weaker flushes than 7 and 8.
In a 3-bet pot very often?
Yeah, I mean, ace 3, ace 2, ace 4.
Okay. Oh yeah, small blind versus big blind. Okay.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by exploitative. People don't call you. If people don't call you, and you just jam like a lot of stuff, or like bet a lot of stuff for like this small size. Because
if they're not calling these top pairs, 2 pairs, and trips, and they're only calling flushes or better
Yeah.
against like a quarter pot bet, your bluffs are gonna print. So like imagine here, right? So roughly here is a flush, right? So you've got all this green material here, which should be calling to make your bluffs indifferent, which aren't calling.
Mhm.
So your bluffs are like twice as effective as they should be.
Yeah. Okay.
For the small size.
So maybe that's the, yeah, I don't know, at least.
So the exploit isn't really to not use the 8-7. I mean, maybe it is, but it would be definitely to bluff a
bet.
little more.
Bluff more, yeah, okay. Oh, thanks.
But it's very, very strange for you to get to this line because you have to know that you can donk 10% of the pot on this 5 of spades. If you look at it, you can actually donk quite frequently on a spade. So you have to know that as well.
Yeah, that's hard
right,
for me.
and then these 3-bet pots, which sort of turns you're going to be donking on.
Is this kind of because like our 3-bet calling range should be a lot of suited hands, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of suited hands here in terms of the density, and
Yeah, like mainly
many
suited.
more suited hands here. And that's okay because the SPR is low,
Yeah.
right? So if you 3-bet, you reduce the SPR, so the strength of a flush, well, a flush is very strong. It just doesn't win as much in terms of multiples of the pot.
Right.
In a 3-bet pot than it does in a single raise pot because the SPR is different. All right. Any other questions about any of the things that we went through? Hopefully, you guys learned a few things.
Yeah, this was really insightful.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Yep. Any questions? I'll put up the recording to this in the tutorial. I'll put a link to the recording in that. Yeah, I'll put the link up in the tutorials and teaching chat. So join the tutorials and teaching chat if you can to get that link, and then I'll probably be deleting the that post that I made to sign up for this tutorial. So if you want to get the link to this sooner, you can go into the chat and get the link from the chat, and then eventually I'll put it up into the quiz answers at some stage.
All right.
Okay.
This was very insightful. Yeah.
Do these hangouts occur like weekly or?
Yep. Usually, I try and do it at least once every 2 weeks, but sometimes it can go up to 3 or 4 times a week, depending on my availability.
Okay, awesome.
So the easiest way to join one is to go through the tutorials and teaching chat, but I might also make some posts through the group. It seems to get more interest if I just post it in the group and give people enough time to join. But sometimes when I just have a few hours free, I might run what's called a tableside tutorial. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them up in the group learning.
Those play and explains?
Yeah,
Oh,
tableside
tableside.
tutorial. Oh no, they're not here. They're on the. I have to put them up, but basically like plan explains, but a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can join them as well.
You can also be on the
But
receiving end.
Yeah. I mean,
You learn a lot.
Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play against me, you can join, and then
Watch later.
Yeah, watch later. You play against me, and then you can watch what I've said about your play later. Hopefully, it is insightful to some people. Great. So, no more questions about anything?
No.
I'm good.
All right. Thanks. Anyone watching this at home? Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
All right. So that.